Happily ever after is one of the biggest lies we've ever been told and sold to. Yeah, thanks Disney. You know, the movies, cartoons, everything out there tends to tell us that once you find the partner, once you find your Prince Charming or your king or your significant other, that everything's going to be hunky-dory and you're going to live happily ever after. Well, if you are in a relationship, and you probably are if you're on this channel talking to me, watching me, listening to me, you know all too well that there really is no happily ever after without effort. You see, relationship takes something. It takes personal growth. It takes personal responsibility. It takes a willingness to be able to apologize when you make mistakes. It takes a willingness to have empathy for your partner. It takes a willingness to go beyond yourself sometimes, to discover new things and communicate more effectively and learn new patterns and heal your trauma, and on and on and on. Now, one of the things that has helped me in my relationship with Rano, because I'm a very autonomous person, I got into a relationship after being single for a very long time, and I thought I had it all together, and especially I married a guy from my own hometown who I had been friends with forever. And I thought that it'd be a cakewalk, easy street, because we've known each other, we were friends forever, I had my shit tight, I'd done all sorts of personal development work, as did he. But as soon as we got together and turned physically intimate, so yeah, started having sex and getting all those hormones flowing, all of his past and all of my past started to show up on our doorstep because of what triggered in us as a result of becoming more intimately connected and romantically involved. Now, that's a typical thing. When you first get together with somebody, you're running the high of your hormones, you're feeling good, you can't imagine that anything could possibly go wrong, you're feeling euphoria, you're feeling the love, you're feeling connected, you're falling in love, all the things. Then you start to take the next steps. Time passes, you get to know the person better. Maybe you move in together and you start to realize, ooh, they've got some habits, they've got some things that aren't so cool with me, and they start thinking the same thing about you. And then you have more fights. And then you realize that your communication isn't as solid as you thought, or the way that you thought that you were communicating isn't landing with your partner, and so on and so forth, right? And then you fall into typical relationship patterns. But you don't necessarily know it because you don't have any other couples around you showing you that that's normal, that these are normal phases that every couple goes through. And again, even myself and Rano have gone through them, even with the history that we have, even knowing each other, even having such a strong base, we fell into typical relationship patterns. Now, how we have resolved this is by making relationship our North Star, which means to us leveraging those differences and leveraging the things that seem to be causing more friction or adversarial behaviors between us, and using that as a way to grow. But it doesn't just work by like, cool, I'm gonna grow here. It works by, where are we going as a couple? Who do we want to be as a couple? What is the purpose of our relationship? And then how do we both together listen to the voice, the entity, the spirit, the higher self, our relationship third, more often to guide us? Because if I'm in my own stuff and he's in his own stuff and we're trying to figure out how to get some stuff, it's gonna be kind of a messy situation. But when I'm in my stuff, he's in his stuff, and we're noticing that we're not seeing eye to eye, it's important to remember that we're on the same team, to turn together towards our relationship. Sometimes it means putting the relationship literally over here, pulling it out of me, out of him, out of this dynamic that we found ourselves caught in, or the merry-go-round of, or a friend of mine calls it the misery-go-round, and actually going, hey, what did we sign up for here? What's the commitment we made to each other? Why is it that we are better together? And we are better together. I know that may not be true for you. That's not true for all couples. Maybe there's some behaviors that are coming up that show that they bring out the worst in you. Well, then it's time to go do some sovereign work. But Rano and I have made a commitment to use our relationship as a crucible for higher purpose, for not just higher purpose in our lives and in our business, which is what we're up to, but for the sake of the relationship, to take us higher, to give us bigger, broadening experiences that I myself could not have on my own, and to learn about myself where when I was single, I couldn't see. I couldn't see the patterns that only play out when I'm involved intimately with another human being. There's no way I could heal that on my own. It looked all hunky-dory. Well, sometimes I would go back to my family and then I'd be in family dynamics and I would see, ooh, I thought I evolved that. And now in comparison, I'm noticing I still have some work to do on this area. That's just called being human. But that's what's happening. Humans get together and it brings up all of our stuff. So if the best happily ever after that I can see and that I've experienced is to connect with your partner, have a understanding of what it is that you're up to, how the relationship specifically serves and supports you in having that or doing that or creating that. And then when things get a little rocky or bumpy, well, actually write it down, get clear, maybe even have a relationship vision statement. And you can even break this down into monthly goals and things. Rano and I have done some other videos here on this channel specifically giving you some very clear steps and tools in which to how to make a relationship your North Star. But here today in this video, I'm just sharing that the importance of having something written down that's clear that you can both agree to, so that when things get bumpy, things get lumpy, things get crunchy, you can come back to that thing and say, okay, who am I being that is impacting that result? And who do I need to be that can impact, that can actually make that result be more on point? Versus, all right, I'm having a tough time, I've got some stuff going on, and now I'm working against that vision statement. When you have that as a couple, that is your happily ever after. Now, that happily ever after happens every day and every moment and every conversation and every interaction, and there's a lot more I could say about that. But the key is making relationship, the context of your relationship as your North Star is indeed the true formula for how happily ever after becomes the norm. Not the destination, but the journey along the way. I hope this was helpful. If you liked what you heard, please like this video, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for more awesome videos. See you soon.